I like to exaggerate.
Sure. Yeah.
But I came back to it, and I don't know, something about it. I saw Ragnaros in one game, and I was like, that is so cool. He turned into a big building.
Jamming, yeah, jamming. I hope you like a jamming too. Welcome to Jammincast, everybody. Welcome back to episode 11. What a fantastic episode we have for you today. My name is Jammin. I'm your host. I'm here. I'm going to bring you the video game news from this week. I'm going to bring you the What's Jammin' this week. And then we're going to have a tantalizing interview with Aullora. She's a Twitch streamer. She plays a lot of Heroes of the Storm. She plays a lot of Ragnaros. So if you like Heroes, if you like hearing about Ragnaros, the classic WoW boss, she plays a lot of him. We're going to talk to her. That's the interview. That's the podcast. That's the episode this week. So let's roll out. What's news, everyone? I'll tell you what's news. Video games had a lot of stuff going on this week. So Rod Breslau, he's at Slasher on Twitter. This is my first. I'm just going to jump right into it, by the way, right into the news. He reported that Disney-owned ESPN and ABC are going to be delayed the broadcast of the X Games Apex Legends EXP Invitational that was set for Saturday, August 10th until October. So they're delaying it. It's in response to the mass shootings that happened last week. The event has already happened, and it's just a TV broadcast that's being delayed. And you can still find it on the ESPN Esports YouTube. And again, it will be shown in a later date in October. But this is, again, a response to these mass shootings that happened last week. Video games being targeted as the culprit, as the reason behind them, as if they're somehow connected, when there's huge evidence that there's not. A bunch of evidence that there is no connection between video games and violence. But it's just another thing that our society is just doing. We're just pushing more and more on things that don't matter. And video games are being targeted right now. It's really stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's just crazy to me that this is the way we're going right now. Along that same vein, Walmart, who suffered at the hands of one of these shooters last week, Walmart is removing demos and displays with violent video games. So Nicole Carpenter reported this on Vice.com. Walmart sent employees a notice titled "Immediate Action: Remove Signing and Displays Referencing Violence." And freelance writer Kenneth Shepard posted an image on Twitter, and then other copies have circulated on Reddit. So it says, I'm just going to read it to you. Immediate action. Remove citing and displays referencing violence. Review your store for any signing or displays that contain violent images or aggressive behavior. Remove from the sales floor or turn off those items immediately. So review your store for any signing or displays that contain violent images or aggressive behavior. Again, this is Walmart responding to being people being shot and killed on their grounds. So this is not just video games so far. In this, they haven't targeted video games, but video games are the thing that is being pulled down. It says, use your best judgment when determining whether an element is appropriate. If you're unsure, remove the item or turn it off as a precautionary measure. And then here we go. Here's where it gets specifics. This is what I need to do. Turn off or unplug any video game display consoles that show a demo of violent games, specifically PlayStation and Xbox units. Anderson merchandisers will be in store to update these demos within the next week. Cancel any events promoting combat style or third-person shooter games that may be scheduled in electronics. Verify that no movies depicting violence are playing in electronics. Turn off any hunting season videos that may be playing in sporting goods, and remove any monitors or displays that show the videos. And then check all signing throughout the store and remove any referencing combat or third-person shooter video games. And they have a number and stuff to call if you have questions. But this is, again, for employees only. It's not supposed to be seen by us. The video game section being, the first section. Disconcerting, right? But they also have, get rid of the hunting stuff. The hypocrisy of this is, of course, that Walmart still sells guns in their stores. Which I get. I'm not saying they shouldn't sell guns. I I don't want to come down on either side of this argument because honestly, I'm not smart enough. I don't know what to say either way. I like video games, and that's where I get heated up when someone starts telling me, "Yo, video games cause this," or "Video games are somehow involved in this." No, it's crazy to me. It's insane. The amount of good that comes from video games is I feel like it's undeniable, but I guess not enough people know about video games and what they're capable of. And here, this podcast, man, just send them to my podcast. If someone hates some video games, send them here, because this is a podcast full of love. All right, full of love for video games and all people, and we're gonna share it. We're gonna make it better. The world's gonna be better, right? Let's move off of the shootings and all that news, and we're gonna move over to some more Twitch and Mixer drama with Ninja. This happened this week. So Ninja left Twitch for Mixer. He moved off. He's doing his new thing on Mixer. He left his Twitch page behind. He kind of abandoned it. Because he makes an exclusivity deal with Mixer. He's not going to go back to Twitch and make an update on there or do anything for Twitch there. So Twitch decided to take his channel and start promoting other streams on it. They took control of his channel. They changed the way his channel looked relative to everybody else. Nobody else's channel is like this. And they wanted to get anyone visiting his channel while it's still being visited by people and send them to more Twitch streams. They want to keep them on the Twitch website, so they're using his channel to advertise other channels. And they even had the message on the stream. It said, "The streamer you're looking for is in another castle." Cute message, Super Mario reference. Okay. Again, that's the only channel on Twitch that's being used that way. Ninja had no control over what was being displayed. So unfortunately, somehow, in the Twitch algorithms, a porn stream was somehow recommended on his channel for about 2 hours. And I think it was 20,000 viewers at some point. So obviously, Ninja responded with a video saying how furious he is about his brand he's been working on for 8 years, and he can't do anything about it. So now he's trying to get either the channel taken down or the channel, people not being advertised on his channel. So Twitch responded. Emmett Shear, at eShear on Twitter, responded. He's the CEO of Twitch. And he said, "Our community comes to Twitch looking for live content. To help ensure they find great live channels, we've been experimenting with showing recommended content across Twitch, including on streamers' pages that are offline. This helps all streamers as it creates a new community connections. However, the lewd content that appeared on the Ninja offline channel page grossly violates our terms of service, and we've permanently suspended the account in question. We've also suspended these recommendations while we investigate how this content came to be promoted. On a more personal note, I want to apologize directly to Ninja that this happened. It wasn't our intent, but it should not have happened. No excuses." That's what Emmett Shear said in his entirety on Twitter in response to Ninja and this whole event. So Twitch has reverted Ninja's page and gone back to its normal self, whatever it was. They turned it back. So even when other Twitch streamers had left Twitch before, they had never done that. They had never taken someone's page and ripped it into something new. And I say ripped, but they were attempting to, use a marketing thing to, continue marketing themselves. And obviously it gets a little weird when you have somebody who, helped build your platform up so much. They leave, and then you take what's left of what they left and you try to do something with it, and then they get mad that you did something with it. So I don't blame Twitch for what they did to Ninja. Ninja left. He's getting paid buku money. Of course, any drama that exists in the internet I'm talking about it now, so now I'm talking about Ninja. So somebody might actually come from here and go look for Ninja. But now they got to go to Mixer, right? So, Twitch has, gonna want to use their resources to maintain their viewers, maintain their content, maintain their stream of income. And, the ethics of it is questionable, but that's the world we live in. So, guys, it's been almost 9 minutes. almost 9 minutes, and I have yet to mention the glorious, the beautiful, the wonderful World of Warcraft. Did you? I took that pause there. Did you hear that pause? It was like a pause. World of Warcraft. I mentioned it now just to get over the 9 minute hump, you know. I think that's not the long. I think 10 minutes was the longest I've ever gone without mentioning it, but we're talking about it now. So I put this in my show notes at the beginning of the week, and I thought this was going to be the big thing that I was going to be hyped up about and talk about, because I thought this would be the only news really to mention. I mean, there was server announcements and stuff that I knew were coming, but this I thought was going to be like one of the big highlights. And now, for me, I think it's one of the, it's still there. It's still news. I'll just tell you. All right. So the stress test was extended. So if you played last weekend, the stress test for World of Warcraft was extended until Monday, August 12th at 9 a.m. Pacific. So if you wanted to play the stress test, you were able to for 4 days instead of 2. And that great. Well done, Blizzard. Really cool to have that opportunity to play the stress test again for anybody who wanted a chance, because the beta was over. The closed beta was done. There was no closed beta. And yeah. The Warcraft Classic servers were announced this week. It's for North America and Europe. I'm sure the other regions got their announcements too, but these are the only ones in English. Warcraft Classic servers announced. North American servers, there's going to be 4 normal servers, 2 of those set in the Pacific time zone, 2 set in the Eastern time zone. There will be 5 players versus player realms, 3 on the Eastern servers time zone, and 2 on the Pacific time zone. There will be 1 RP realm, the Blood Cell Buccaneers. It'll be an Eastern time zone server. Then there will be 1 RP PvP realm, Globulus, and that'll be a Pacific time zone server. Then there will be Oceanic realms. There's going to be 1 PvP Oceanic realm, Arugal. Isn't that the guy from Shadowfang Keep? And then 1 normal server, Remulos, which will be Australian Eastern time for both of those Oceanic realms. The European servers, there will be 3 PvP servers. They will be English. 2 normal servers that are English. There will be an RP server. The Hydraxian Waterlords is the name. It'll be an English server. RP PvP server. Zandalar Tribe will be English. There will be 2 French servers. One's going to be normal, one will be PvP. 2 German servers. One will be normal, one will be PvP. And there'll be 2 Russian servers. 1 normal and 1 PvP. So that is all of the servers that they announced in their initial announcement for Classic World of Warcraft, and then you were able to reserve your name. So that was a blitz of a thing that everyone was reserving your name. You could have 3 names reserved. If you haven't reserved your name yet, you can still go on. You can still do it if you have a current subscription to World of Warcraft. You're able to log into the character creation server and create a character. You can create up to 3 characters. I think I talked about this last week. You can create up to 3 characters on these servers until the game opens, and then you'll be able to create up to 50 after Classic actually launches on the 27th. And then in server news, there was 2 more servers announced later, after character creation. So Blizzard looked at how many people were creating characters. They looked at how many characters were created on these servers, and they decided they needed to release 2 more servers, 1 on Europe and 1 on North America. As of this recording, they haven't added any more. But so in Europe, they're adding Gehennas, a PvP server that's English, and they said in the server launch when they posted the classic, the blue post, it says, "We suggest that players choosing a realm consider this one, as we expect that other English PvP realms may experience severe queue times at release." They said, may experience severe queues at release. Then the North American Stalag server they announced, it's going to be a PvP server. It's going to be Eastern time. And they said, we suggest that players, especially those on the Herod realm, so this is actually different from the EU announcement. In Europe, they didn't say a specific PvP server that's a little bit overpopulated. In the North American side, they did. They said Herod specifically. Consider creating characters on Stalag. We expect that other PvP realms in this region will otherwise experience significant login queues when Classic launches. Blizzard also mentioned in another blue post that the PvP realm Whitemane is also expected to have some longer than average queues on the first day. So if you're looking for a server, check out some of those. Look at your server. Make sure you're making a good choice. You're always questioning, right, the idea of, well, I kind of want to be on the most popular server because eventually the population will fall off, and I want to be playing with people, right? But you also don't want to be lost in the sauce. As I don't even know where that phrase is from, but don't get lost in it. There's sauce, and you don't want to get lost in it. Someone's cooking, you don't want to drop a big peppercorn in there and then lose it. If there's too much sauce, you're going to lose your peppercorns. What the hell am I talking about? So choose a server, basically. I will talk about my choices in the What's Jamming section. I'm not going to talk about exactly what I've chosen so far because I haven't really chosen anything. And again, that's more What's Jamming. We're gonna wait on that. But other streamers did announce where they're going. Chance Morris at SodaPoppinTV on Twitter tweeted out this. He said, "Streamer server update," in all caps. He said, "We recognize people will be playing Herod for an authentic, classic experience. So we're going to be playing Firelina. SFan TV, Stay Safe Warlock, Nick Polum, and at Tips Out Baby, all on Twitter. Those are their Twitter handles. They're not sure where Asmongold is playing. I'm not sure if Asmongold has mentioned where he's playing yet. I'm sure he's keeping that under wraps a little bit. I probably will be on Faralina. I assume he'd be playing on the same realm as SFan, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he'll go to the new server, Stalag. Maybe he'll throw people off. Maybe he'll create a character on Stalag and then switch over and just mess with people. I don't know. It's Asmongold. He can do whatever the hell he wants, right? And so, biggest announcement for this week, the big things that happened, is WoW Classic closed beta has returned. Huge. I started saying, they extended the stress test. And then by the end of the week, they're like, oh, by the way, the beta's back. My brain just exploded, right? So they said Kaivax, the community manager on the WoW Classic general discussion forums for the US, posted, "Thanks to your help testing World of Warcraft Classic, we've fixed many additional reported bugs since the beta ended last month to really ensure that these fixes are all functioning as expected and prepare the smoothest possible launch in 2 weeks. We've just reopened our closed beta realms for additional testing of World of Warcraft Classic. All testers who previously had access to the closed beta are now able to log into those realms. Characters that were previously created in the beta test realms were removed. So if you had access to the beta, you can now access it again, but all your characters were deleted. Whoops. But what they did instead is, and level 40 character templates are now available. So the level cap has been increased to 45. You can create a character at level 40, whatever class you want, and then you get a set of gear and whatever. And then at 45 is the level cap. So you can level, 5 levels. Characters in this range will find level-appropriate quests to explore in zones such as Stranglethorn Vale, Swamp of Sorrows, Dustwallow Marsh, Desolace. The in-game bug reporting is back. And the final closed beta test will end on Friday, August 16th. So by the time you're hearing this, the closed beta will have ended. But tons of content. Just getting people more and more hyped for classic World of Warcraft. It's coming, baby. It's so close. I can get my hands on it, grip it, feel it. We'll see how well this podcast ages. Maybe I'll come back to this podcast in a year and be like, classic WoW. That was that game. Yikes. Maybe, at the moment I doubt that'll happen, but, it could. It could happen. So in other World of Warcraft news, Blizzard posted a giant list of all the bugs they fixed due to the classic World of Warcraft beta. It was a list of 207 bugs. So Agrin, the quality assurance lead, posted this on August 16th, It said, greetings. Throughout the beta and stress testing period over the past 3 months, thousands of players have returned to the Azeroth that was to help us prepare for the WoW Classic global launch on August 27th, 2019. Throughout this process, we've received thousands of detailed bug reports from dedicated beta and stress testers. We felt that it was important to close the loop on all of your diligent efforts and try to give you an idea on just how much of an impact you've had on helping to make this the best version of WoW Classic that it could be. In the first reply below, and this is again on the blue post, you will find a list of bugs that we've fixed in the past 3 months that were reported to us by players like you during the various WoW Classic stress tests and closed beta. Some of these issues were previously known to us, but many were not, and we wanted to thank each and every one of you for your efforts in helping us identify and fix these bugs. Please note that this is large. It's a large list. It is not comprehensive. This does not include every single one of the issues that was reported by players or fixed during this period. There are also other bugs with fixes that are still in testing and as such are not listed. Thank you for your help. Thank you for helping us prepare for the launch of WoW Classic. See you in Azeroth. And then he posted a second post, and it is literally 207, just a bug, a bullet point by bullet point bugs listed. Creatures no longer ignore collision when in combat with players. Warlock's Curse of Doom now properly summons a Doom Guard. I'm just randomly picking out. I can't even go through all these. Fixed an issue that caused the enraged Panther to occasionally be unable to be attacked during the quest Hypercapacitor Gizmo. Fixed an issue that caused the red buttons in the Meckinger Thermoplug encounter to remain depressed for too long. There is no longer a missing strip of water in the Moss-Hide Fen area of wetlands. A Warlock Imp will now move to attack a target that is out of line of sight. Casting spells such as Hunter's Mark no longer causes the hunter to sheathe their bow and begin to shoot arrows with their hands. So I'm not even going to continue. It's just an insane large list of all these bugs that they posted as saying players help solve these. So honestly, just a great moment, just great stuff to hear. And then I also want to mention this post that came out again on August 16th. Kaivax, the community manager, posted this, and it's about overcrowded realms. So the classic World of Warcraft is overcrowded at the moment. They're posting this to tell people, to warn people that on their launch day, there might be queues depending on what realm you are signed up for. So Kaivax said this on the U.S. forums. Based on name reservations so far, the Herod realm is looking to be massively overpopulated. If all existing players on this server remain there, login queues in excess of 10,000 players are a certainty, and possibly much higher than that. We recently opened up the Stalag realm, and we urge players on Herod to consider moving there. There are a lot of players currently on Herod, and we want Stalag to fill up before we open any new PvP realms. This is so that player population is spread as evenly as possible before launch, in order to provide the best play experience. While we are able to fit several times more players on a single realm in 2019 than was the case in 2006, we are not going to raise that cap any further. Even though we have the technical capacity to do so, raising realm caps would simply forestall the problem, letting more players in at launch but creating an unstable situation down the line, with severe queues when we turn off layering permanently before Phase 2 of our content unlock plan. Please also note that our realm population estimates of low, medium, high, and full are based on this increased capacity. A medium realm today already has more characters on it than even the most crowded realms did back in 2006. Our top priority in planning for WoW's Classic launch has been ensuring that we are laying the groundwork for strong realm communities that will endure over the months and years to follow, which is why we're cautiously opening new servers to meet demand. I think this is there's a lot of information here, a lot of information to take away. So Classic WoW realms are overpopulated, and the servers are actually larger now than back in vanilla, which makes sense, but they also said that a medium server is larger than even the most popular servers. So then they also mentioned that they plan on removing phasing in Phase 2. I don't know if that was explicitly known that was going to happen. There was rumored that was what it was going to, but I haven't read anything. This is the first time I'm reading something that actually explicitly states they want to remove phasing before Phase 2. And I know people have said that. Anyway, Herod is the problem child. So of all the servers, if you're choosing a server when you come to jump into Classic WoW on the 27th, if you're choosing Herod, you're probably going to experience a queue. And they said 10,000 players, which is insane. That's an insane amount. The other server they mentioned in another blue post that was overpopulated, but they didn't mention in this because it's not as bad apparently, but Whitemane has been mentioned as being an overpopulated server. So if you're going to choose a server and you don't want to deal with queues, avoid Herod at all costs. Whitemane maybe, because they've mentioned it as being overpopulated. And then the other server that might have problems is Farolina. And no blue post about this one, but this is where all the streamers said they were going. So if you want to play with SFan, if you want to play with Tips Out, if you want to play out with, I forget who else, but if you want to play with them, the streamer said they're going to Farolina. So there might be some server queue times there. It looks like Stalag is the new server that they launched in order to help alleviate these queues. So if you want to avoid queues, I would say go Stalag. Of course, the problem is people are scared to do that. No one wants to join the crappy server that no one's on. No one wants to go on the underpopulated server. So it's difficult for players to be okay with just jumping on Stalag. But Blizzard is recommending that people roll there. So if you want to avoid the queues, which might be good, I mean, hey, you might be world first PvP player, PvP realm level 60 if you go on Stalag, because Stalag's going to have the least amount of people, according to Blizzard. Okay, so classic WoW realms are overpopulated, and like again, they're expecting queues of over 10,000 people on launch for the Herod server, unless people move off it. Herod's one of that all the private server folks and super fans, as you might call them, are going on. So like I've noticed a lot of the private server guilds are saying they're going on Herod, and then again the streamers are going to Farolina. And I think the reason that people gravitated to Herod is because Herod is one of these classic bosses from World of Warcraft in Scarlet Monastery, and it has name recognition, right? You know Herod when you see it, along with being a PvP server on East Coast time. So it hits all those check boxes, right? It's a PvP server on the East Coast, and it has this cool name, Herod, the guy in Scarlet Monastery Armory. He has the Blades of Light. He's easily recognizable. People actually know that name, so it has some tangible meaning, so people gravitated there. And also, another problem with this, you can only make 3 characters at the moment when you're reserving a name. So you can only make 3 characters, and so to make a character on a new realm, you have to delete one of the 3 that you've already created. So if you get a cool name that you like, you might not want to delete your character because you're worried that someone randomly might just take that name when you switch to another server and you find out that other server doesn't have that name either. So you go back to your first server and, oh, it's already gone, which is probably wouldn't happen with most names, but you know, you're worried about that. You don't want that to happen. Plus you don't know, okay, are my friends leaving? My friends are all here. My friends are on Herod. Everybody said Herod. Do I want to switch? It's going to be a whole group of people. You have to get your whole guild of people to get off Herod in order to get off Herod, right? You're not going to be the first person to jump off the boat. You're going to wait for everybody else, and you're going to jump off together. So people are hesitant to switch. They don't want to lose their names. And then also you can only make 3 characters. But the other problem with that is, so you'd say, okay, well, Blizzard, allow people to make, 1 character on each realm, or what can they do to alleviate that pain? Should they make it so you can make 3 characters in any realm? I think just leave it as it is. I don't think there's anything they can do to make it better. There's pros and cons to changing, and so it's better just don't change it. Don't fix anything. Just let it ride. 3 people on each server, or on total until the game launches on the 27th, and then you can make 50 characters across all the realms. So people are hesitant, they don't want to lose their names. And then, of course, only people with active subscriptions can actually make characters at the moment. Lots of people about to resub on the 27th, and they're hoping to get their names, right? People don't want to resub just to... I'm sure there are tons of people who did this, but I'm saying not everybody resubbed just to get their subscription and just to get their names, right? They're not going to do that. So lots of people are about to resub on the 27th in order to get their name. And they're hoping to get their name. And if you let people just make as many people as they want, those names are going to be taken. All the goofy names, all the things you could ever want are going to be taken if people are just making names right now, because that's all people can do right now is make names. You can't play. So people are going to sit on there and, well, what about this name? Maybe this name. Oh, maybe this name. And it's just going to boop, 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 boop. All the names are going to be gone. So I'm sure there are names that are available right now that would not be available if everyone could make that many characters. So they can't change anything. If you're looking to play and you don't have a guild or anything, check out Stalag is what Blizzard is saying. Of course, you'd be worried that it's going to become a dead server or something, but it doesn't sound like it. If there's this many people that are trying to play, maybe you could be the god on Stalag, man. You could be the big fish in a little pond on Stalag, all right? Check it out. That sounds good. So that is what's news, people. We're going to kick it on over to my main man, Jamin, with the What's Jamin segment. I don't know if you've ever heard of this man. He's got a luxurious, velvety voice. At least people tell him that. I've told him that before. He doesn't believe me. But, sometimes you just got to go with it. All right, Jamin, let's hear what happened in your week. Hey, what's Jamin, people? Thank you, Jamin, for that beautiful handoff. Just taking the baton from myself, here to give you some information into what happened in my week. So the first thing that happened is I went to a wedding to my good friend. I met him, Rob. He married a lovely woman named Amanda. Congratulations to you two. I hope you had a fantastic honeymoon. I hope your wedding was a blast. I had a fantastic time. We listened to some great music, some headbanging. My neck got sore, actually. So I have this long hair. I have not messed with my hair so anyone who, you can't see me if you're listening to the podcast, but I have this long hair and I've never really done anything with it. It was the first time listening to some heavy metal, some real, I don't even know what you call it, some Viking metal. People whipping their hair around in circles. I got my neck sore from doing that. It honestly felt like I'd been in a car accident with whiplash or something. My neck was just sore for like 2 days. And I didn't feel like I even did it that vigorously or that crazily. It was just like, all right, this is a thing. This is something that I need to pay attention to. But then, yeah, it was great. It was fantastic. I had such a great time. I actually drove when I was driving. I think it was 6 hours of driving or 7 hours of driving. So I listened to the old podcasts to try to see what I'd done and if I'd fixed anything, if there's anything I'd forgotten about. I was really happy listening to those. It feels weird listening to it because I hear people talk about they don't like listening. I don't enjoy listening to it as much as I feel like it's good to tinker with and mess with and figure out, because those are important things. So then we had, what else happened this week? So I got back, so I was gone, right? So the Classic WoW stress test came out on, it was Thursday, right? Yeah, it was Thursday. And the Classic WoW stress test was going to be over on Friday. So I thought, I'm not going to be able to play at all. It might have come out Friday, whatever it was. So they extended it till Sunday, till Monday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific. So it's like 12 p.m. Eastern. So I got to play. I got to get to level 9. So I played a shaman, of course. Like, what else would I play? I'm Jamin. I'm the shaman. I messed around a bit with a leveling route. I know that there's better levelers out there than me, but what I started with, each time you do it, you get a little bit better. You get a little better understanding of what's going on. I didn't get as far as I would have liked, but I still had fun. I ran into somebody, and it was a hunter, and he was, I think he was 15, he said, and he was just, it was fun. We had a blast, and then he was like, "Wait, you're streaming?" And he talked to me, and I just talked to him all the time on stream. It was really fun. We just leveled together, and I taught him about World of Warcraft for the first time. He had never played World of Warcraft, didn't really understand what he was doing. I think he started in Cataclysm, he said. And he was 5 years old when he started, and he's been playing off and on, or something like that. So he asked a bunch of questions about Classic WoW, and I was able to enlighten him. It was really fun. It was a great stream. But I didn't get as far as I would have liked. I think I stopped at like level 9. But I didn't go to the Echo Isles right away. The last time I did the stress test, the first stress test, I went to the Echo Isles. This time I went and I did the Gnomish Tools quest, which is a little bit farther north and then east. And then you have to dive in the water and open chests near the sunken boats. So I also did the Razor Hill quests and the quest to get the Kill Tehran humans in the eastern part of the zone. They have their own castle area. And then right next to that is the sunken boats where you go to the Gnomish Tools. And then while you're doing the gnomish tools, you can kill the Makrura, you can kill the crawlers, you can get the crawler mucus, you can get the Makrura eyes, and you can do it over there instead of going down south and doing it near Senjin Village, because if you do it near Senjin Village, it's just a ton of people just fighting over all those mobs there. So up near the Kulturan Marines, near the Kulturan base, much easier time getting those crawler mucuses and Makrura eyes if you're going to actually do that quest, because it is a hell of a quest, that quest. And then I leveled my hunter, Obanukwo. He's now level 60, and I froze his experience there. I had to figure out where in Stormwind I didn't know any. I have no idea. I've never been in Alliance. 60 is my highest Alliance character now, and I froze him at 60 with the experience freeze. And I'm going to try to do level 60 dungeons on him. But I realized that it's really difficult to do stuff on a solo anything, right? And then I switched back over to my shaman Rayodin, and he's now level 58. He's on a different server. He's on my main server, Anixia. And I came to the realization that classic World of Warcraft doesn't have time walking. So getting people to do classic content, it will only work in 5-mans that you queue for. So you can't do like classic raids. You can't only do what they specifically allow you to queue for. So you're going to do those 5-man dungeons. And you're only going to find people that are leveling. Like if you want to do Black Rock Depths, if you want to do the city, the whole thing, if you want to clear the whole thing, you're not going to, because people don't want to do that. They're only going to kill the bosses that are necessary for them to finish the dungeon, to get out, to move on to the next quest, to move on to the next experience, to get to 58, so that they can do Burning Crusade dungeons, so they can get the better gear, they can get the better experience, they can move on, they can keep leveling their character. I'm stopping at 60, so it's different, right? It's a different mindset, it's a different test. I'm trying to play the game at 60 to see what you can do. Of course, once Classic WoW comes out, I probably won't be doing anything, but I have some ideas. I have some things I'm thinking about. How am I going to generate some... just these interests. I thought this was cool. I thought this was a good idea. You tell me what you think. At Twitter, it's at Jamin the Shaman on Twitter. Just send me... What do you think about this? So I'm thinking about getting a character and leveling them to each of the time-walking dungeon points. Each of the old leveling points for World of Warcraft. So at 70 for Burning Crusade, leveling a character to 70, leveling a character to 80 for Wrath of the Lich King, leveling a character to 85 for Cataclysm Time Walking, level a character to 90 for Mist of Pandaria, 100 for Warlords of Draenor, and there's no 110, there's no Legion Time Walking yet. But then every 2 weeks, I'll be able to get on a different character, and I'll be able to actually queue for dungeons with people that are doing the dungeons that are appropriate for my level, and get those Time Walking badges and get that generated and go. And then also I could generate, every 2 weeks we can do like an event on stream. We can do like a time walking event. Like, hey guys, let's see what we can do as a group. I'll get 5 people together. Let's just go burn through some time walking dungeons. We're going to bring my 80 shaman. We're going to bring my 85 shaman. We're going to bring my 110 shaman, 100 shaman, whatever it is. And we're going to do some time walking. I think that'll be fun. So I'm going to, maybe we'll do that. But of course, that'll be when Classic WoW starts to, not have as much luster as it has right now, because the luster of Classic WoW is a hell of a thing right now. It's hype as hell. Then for the podcast this week, and I was really excited about this, I conducted 2 interviews this week. I missed the interview last week, right? I released episode 10, and it didn't have an interview in it. And so I don't want that to happen again. I don't want to miss an interview going forward. So I'm trying to get the interviews done in a backlog so that I can release them each week and not have to stress over it getting done constantly. Like each week before episode 1 through 10, I would just be stressed until the interview was done. And then I was like, oh, okay, now it's all on me. I don't have to worry about anybody else. I can finish the podcast on my time. But the interviews were the stressful part, getting those done. So now, because I missed an interview, I'm trying to change my process, and this is how it's. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with how it's going down at the moment, but I'm also worried that some of the things we say might become time sensitive. Like I might ask someone like, "Are you going to play Classic WoW?" And then I release the interview, 2 weeks after Classic World of Warcraft came out. So, will the interview, make sense? But it's the podcast. So not only this. I also have to remember the podcasts can be listened to in the future. Not just people aren't going to just listen on Saturday. They're going to listen to them. They might listen to it in the future. So I have to make sure that the interviews are good for that too. So that's something that I'm working on. I'm going to keep it in mind. I'm going to keep all these things in mind. I'm going to try to release the best thing possible for the listeners, right? I do care about what you guys want. Having people, when they come in and say on the stream, hey, great job, loving it, doing good, that's always fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. So that's what's jamming for me this week, guys. That's everything that happened in my life this week that I thought pertained to this podcast, pertained to video games, and you guys would enjoy. I'm looking forward to next week. I have a fantastic interview for you this week. I'm going to send you over to myself with this interview with Aullora. So if you would, she is a Twitch streamer. Go watch her. First, listen to this interview. I hope you enjoy. Welcome to Jamencast. It's me, Jamin. Here today, I have with me a Twitch streamer who's a hell of a personality, Aullora. She streams a lot of Heroes of the Storm, and she's particularly skilled in playing Ragnaros. And if her enemies could hear her, they would probably have to turn the volume down on their headphones a bit. How are you, Aullora? What's going on?
I'm doing good, Jamin. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so happy to have you here. I love watching your streams. It's just fun to you got a lot of energy and you really put it out there.
Thanks, man. That means a lot.
Mm-hmm. So the first question I want to ask you is what was the first game that you ever played that left an impression on you?
Oh man. Honestly, and this is gonna sound a little odd. But the first game that left an impression on me was actually Tamagotchi. Okay, I know it sounds weird. But I got one of those and I loved it. I loved everything about it. And after that, I kind of progressed to Game Boy. I got Pokemon. That was like the next level. Oh my gosh. Blew my mind. I don't know. It kept going up from there.
Tamagotchi. Did you have friends did you all have Tamagotchis and you were just like showing each other? Yeah.
Oh, I gotta go feed mine.
Yeah, I remember that. I'm trying to remember what I was doing at that time. I don't know if I ever got a Tamagotchi. I know I had Pokemon, and I know everyone around me had Tamagotchis at the time, or it felt like everybody did. Wow, yeah. No, that's a hell of a game, especially with Pokemon and Tamagotchi and that whole taking care of something that was digital. And if it died, it really wasn't that big a deal. It like not like a real pet, obviously. Yeah, those were fun.
You learn responsibility with no consequences.
Yeah. Okay, so when did you first start streaming? What was the catalyst to that?
So initially I started streaming at the end of I think 2017. I had just gotten Destiny and I was like, this is so cool. I was talking to my sister about it. I was like, check out this game. She's like, that's so cool. I don't know. I was watching a lot of streams at the time and I was like, why don't I do this? So I downloaded OBS. I picked up a camera and there we go.
Gotcha. So you streamed a lot of did you stream a lot of Fortnite for a while? Is that true?
Yes, but don't tell anyone.
Don't tell anyone. Okay, never mind. Let's erase that from the interview for sure. Okay. So when did you start playing Heroes? What got you playing that?
So I initially started playing HOTS for the mount in WoW. That was my main reason.
The Flame Tiger? Is that what it was?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, exactly. It looked so cool. I just had to have it. Didn't really care about the game, honestly. I was just like, oh, just do these 10 matches and be done with it. And I'm not gonna lie, initially when I played it, I don't know, there wasn't like that spark for me. I was really big into both WoW and League of Legends at the time. And I don't know, HOTS just, it didn't have that allure for me back then. I don't know if maybe I just wasn't playing, the right heroes for me or what. So I did my 10 games, got my mount, and I didn't touch it for 3 years.
Wow.
Came back to it.
I didn't realize the mount was that long ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Wow.
Has it been 3 years? Probably not. I like to exaggerate.
Sure. Yeah.
But I came back to it, and I don't know, something about it. I saw Ragnaros in one game and I was like, that is so cool. He turned into a big building. And
Yeah.
I tried him and that's when I started loving the game, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know if heroes. I don't know if it. So coming from League of Legends, I don't know if heroes make sense to people or if they just see like. I'm just trying to think about the learning curve now about like because you don't have any like gold, you don't have the last hit. So
Mhm.
you come from League and you just say, well, this game is stupid. There's no skill. Like there's no skill in this game because there's no way to get gold and get better than other people. Um,
Right, and it does actually feel like that. There, in my opinion, needs to be a better tutorial system set up because if you're just jumping into the game from a game like League, you're sitting there like, what do I do? What do I do? I'm just standing here like hitting stuff. Is this right?
yeah, it doesn't have a good feedback loop of like, oh, this is you're doing the right thing.
Right.
This is the you're just killing minions. You feel like you're playing like a StarCraft 2 like map or something.
Exactly.
Like it wasn't balanced.
And I was really fortunate when I started playing it. I initially started playing it on stream. Um, so, I'd have people be like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be here. You're supposed to go do this. You're supposed to kill these minions here. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes a little more sense. But I think without that, I probably would still be pretty clueless in the game. Um, but it was definitely really helpful starting that whenever I was streaming.
Gotcha. Yeah, and watching you play Ragnaros actually, like the level 1 quest, like I remember the first time I ever watched your stream, you were completing the level 1 quest and like the dings and like seeing you get like 6 hits and kill a whole minion wave and get the all your Q hits. It was like so satisfying just watching that. I don't know, that was the thing that got me attached to your stream. I don't know if you know that's like the I don't know why, but watching you complete your Q quest, I was like, "Oh, that's so cool." She just like killed all those minions at one time. Like I knew people like are supposed to do that. That's how you're like supposed to do it. But like just watching someone actually do it, it's mechanically like uh, it relieves stress just watching it. Like oh
I
yeah,
definitely, I
yeah.
definitely relate to that for sure.
Mm. It's like playing Tychus. I love getting the in the rhythm quest just because it just dings constantly, and you're like, yes, I'm
Yes,
doing the right
yes.
thing. There you go. That's what
That
they
one
need to
is
do.
endless, isn't it?
Yeah, it's endless. So every time you activate your trait, you just keep dinging,
Ding,
and
ding, 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 ding,
yeah,
ding, ding. You're like, yes, yes, I'm winning.
yeah. In fact, on I think it's a Nazebo or is it? No, it's Medivh. When Medivh finishes his quest, I feel like I'm doing something wrong now.
So sad, right?
Yeah, because you have these dings, you have these beeps coming, and you're like, oh, I hit a hero. It feels good. So maybe that's what they need to do. Maybe they just need to add dings to killing minions. That's
See, that would be good.
that's the good feedback loop that they need.
You
Uh,
did it. You cleared that wave. Good job.
yeah. What?
Your
So
team just lost a team fight, but you got that minion wave.
yeah, but you got the dings at least. That's what's important.
Exactly.
You have to chase those.
The
Uh,
trade-off.
what drew you to Ragnaros? I guess you said that already. The becoming a giant building, but was that it? That was the thing. You're like, I just want to be a building. I want to
It
be.
was that and the lava wave. It was my first time seeing him. I think at the time I was really into Sylvanas before her rework.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw this huge, huge wave of fire coming down the lane. I'm like, what is that? And it was on the enemy team.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my gosh, that's terrifying. Um, we got destroyed. And at the end of the game, he got MVP. And I was like, that actually looks pretty cool. Um, and so, I gave it a try and holy cow, he was amazing.
Yeah. Immediately, it just clicked.
I didn't build him right, but he was amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah, Ragnaros is one of those heroes where I feel like every time I play him, I just don't know what I'm doing. He doesn't click with me. It's like the opposite. Like I play him and I'm like, okay, well, every time I go in, I die. You have to like really
He's so
know.
risky.
Yeah, you have to really know that you're capable of living because you just have to walk out. You have to literally walk away. You don't have any kind of. You have your speed boost, but yeah, it's one of those characters that never clicked with me.
Yeah. If you see me on stream a lot, I'm most of the time I'm just doing circles waiting for a good opportunity to go in because
Mm.
otherwise, like if they're looking at you, um, you pretty much just die. So
Yeah. If you could have one hero added, so we have Kira now. If you could have one hero added to Heroes of the Storm, do you know who you'd want?
Right now, I think I'm pining for Deathwing, just because he looks freaking cool. I feel like he'd have a similar style to Alex,
Mm-hmm.
since he has both human and dragon form. Um, I don't know how he'd work. I haven't gotten that far, but I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, everybody. I feel like everyone wants Deathwing, but I don't know how they would implement him because of the size. He was supposed to be like even bigger than that, like 3 times the size of Alex Strauss, I think, in like the lore. I don't know.
Oh yeah, but let's be real. Ragnaros is supposed to be huge too.
Oh yeah, that's true. He did become a giant building. Oh, they could. Oh no. Okay, now my head is going too far. Like I'm just imagining like Hyperion, but instead of like a shadow of whatever that battle
The
cruiser,
dragon
it'd just be a
instead.
dragon shadow. Yeah, and you could just launch fireballs at people. All right.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. So you it sounded like for a second there you don't like the Sylvanas rework.
I'm not a huge fan of it. I've definitely seen people make it work, but I liked her old play style better.
And just being able to disable buildings constantly, like that was her unique niche.
Mhm.
It now has
But back
to
then,
what?
I was still pretty new to the game, so being able to run it down with no consequences was kind of nice.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, and if nobody pays attention to you, you just win.
Exactly.
Which I guess is what Zagara does a little too, but not quite to the same extent because at least the minion waves will die at some point.
That's true. But she can just spawn more, so.
Mm-hmm. So you've mentioned that streaming has helped with your anxiety, and I think a lot of people would be surprised to hear that you have anxiety based on your streaming persona. So I wanted to ask, how have video games and streaming helped you find relief from your anxiety? Have they been helpful in coping with them?
To a certain degree, I feel like streaming has helped. But I know it probably doesn't seem like it, especially when I'm on stream, but I'm one of those kind of people where even just, walking outside is hard for me.
Hmm.
Um, and it's been like that for years. I'm just now looking for help outside of this, but um honestly, I think streaming has helped, but only to a certain degree. Because at the end of the day, streaming is for entertainment for other people, right?
Right.
And in a way, it's almost not entirely, but it's almost like a persona. So like once I end stream, it's like all that anxiety just comes back to me. Which is a little unfortunate, but I feel like things have gotten a little easier since I've started. So it's a step in the right direction, right?
Yeah, 100%. And it's tiny steps. Like someone told me a long time ago that people don't make changes by just like the cold turkey or the crazy change. Like now I'm going to be a mountain climber, and you just climb mountains, and you're like, what? Like you were sitting at your computer yesterday. Like how are you going to do that? You can't just do that. You can't just become something completely different. It's minor, gradual things, and especially with mental health, it's minor, it's gradual, and it's learning how to deal with coping with things that you haven't like ever figured out how to cope with. Like and I've talked about this before on the podcast, that we grow up and everyone just assumes we're going to figure out how to cope with everything with mentally. Like you're just mentally, you're going to figure it out. Like, and nobody teaches anybody about how to like deal with anxiety. And I mean, maybe some families did. My family, nothing against them. They're great and I love them. They didn't. And so I had a lot of depression and anxiety and stuff in my early 20s. And therapy was 100% the greatest thing I've ever done. Helped me so much. And, CBT specifically. So if you're ever looking for therapy, try to find cognitive behavioral therapy or dialectical behavior therapy. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
that is actually what I'm starting in a couple weeks. So pretty excited. But I think the worst part about it is that I know a lot of people who also struggle with similar things that I'm dealing with, and they, for whatever reason, they feel like asking for help makes them weak or makes them seem weak, so they
Hmm.
don't want to reach out. Um, and sometimes, you just need that help. And I feel like in some ways there's still Not to the degree it was, I'm sure, but there's still a little bit of stigma behind asking for help, and I don't think that should be there.
100%. No, absolutely not. I think mental health is just as important as physical health. You go to a dentist to clean your teeth, to take care of your teeth because you don't know how to do that. Like people,
Mm.
same, go to a doctor to take care of you, to give you meds when you need it because we don't understand. Like I don't understand how a human body works. I don't know what this thing. I don't know how this thing came together. Same thing with mental health. It's just something someone else studied and figured out how to deal with it, and they have better ideas. I mean, there's like the whole people talk about coping mechanisms, and like alcohol and drugs and video games are very easy. Especially I can and streaming. It's very easy to put yourself into those and take those things and then numb out the problems that you have. And then, like you said, once you're done with those, once you stop doing that, the drugs or alcohol or video games or whatever, you have all of a sudden you have to deal with all of your problems and all your thoughts and all your
Mm.
feelings. And yeah, that's so they're not a. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm saying that they are a coping mechanism, and
Exactly.
therapy helps you learn a better coping mechanism. It helps you learn how to actually deal with your thoughts and feelings and how to process them and figure out who you want to be and how life is. So, video games are fantastic for everything they are. But yeah, therapy is one of the greatest things I've ever done, and how much it helped me. So I always want to, if someone's struggling, I always am like, oh, let me tell you, let me help, because this is I want everyone to know that this is great. And Howard Stern has been fantastic about that. I don't know if you've ever listened to him, but he's been talking about therapy and how great it is, and how mental health is like, yeah, again, stigmatized in our country and in the world really. Anyway, yeah. So when you're not streaming, are there people you like to watch? Is there anyone who influences you and you think like, oh, that's a good idea, I could do that? Or who do you like to watch when you're not streaming? Or do you watch
Honestly,
streaming?
I don't usually watch too many streams.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Kit Boga just because it's entertainment and he's doing something good. Wasting time of malicious people. But for the most part, after I'm done streaming, I kind of just turn my computer off and do anything else.
Yeah.
Just because too many games, you can get addicted to it, and when you're streaming for 6-7 hours at a time, you're gaming for 6-7 hours at a time, and afterwards, I just don't really want to think about games anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just got to relax and get it off your mind, because you're gonna have to do it again in whatever 11, 12 more hours.
Exactly.
So what's your best memory or story from your streaming? Do you have one? Do you have a thing that you really like? Oh, that was awesome. Like I hope that. I mean, yeah.
Um,
Or is there any specific memory
Honestly,
that sticks out?
every day it has something different. Um, I'd say honestly, I get good memories from stream every day, unless I'm tilted, which does happen occasionally. But there's nothing that stands out just because most days are really really good.
Are there any games coming out in the future that you're looking forward to? Are there specific games that you're excited about?
Baby Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
Totally not for Keanu Reeves. I pinky promise.
The amount of people I've had when I asked that question that have said Cyberpunk 2077 is astounding to me. I think it's like the number one answer for almost every person I've interviewed. Um, I don't know. That game looks. I mean, it looks fantastic. Keanu made it look fantastic too. But we'll see. I don't know if I'll even get into it, because I tried to get into Witcher 3 and I never really did.
Yeah, same. I actually tried Witcher 3 and gave up because I couldn't beat the first boss. So
Oh, I don't
we'll
even know if
see.
I don't know if I got to a first boss. I had some kind of weird baby thing happen. There was like a dead baby, and like,
Oh no.
did you do that part? Do you know what I'm
I
talking
don't
about?
think so.
Okay. I have no idea. It's very early in the game. Every time I talk to someone about it, they're like, "Oh, that's like at the beginning of the game," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, all right."
But isn't the game like super long?
Yeah, it's ridiculously long, and I was like, man, I have so much other things I want to do. I don't have time to put into this game, even though everybody I talk to is like, that game is fantastic. You need to play that game.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing. But that's like Dark Souls for me. I got to the first boss and don't judge me, but I didn't beat that one either. That I quit. So
Hmm.
they're like, you just dodge here. I'm like, look, I understand how it works. My brain is not making me dodge them.
Yeah, I feel the same. I always feel like, am I even good at video games when I play those games? I'm like, maybe I'm not. I thought I was, but then I play like Sekiro. I got to one boss and I haven't picked it up against some purple monk guy, and he's like a very minor boss. He has like one health bar instead of the normal like three or four that the bosses have, and I couldn't beat him. And I was like, I just haven't gone back and picked it up. It's just like,
Yeah, I can relate to that.
mm-hmm. See, you mentioned World of Warcraft, and I can't believe I waited this long to ask, but are you going to play Classic WoW?
Heck yeah, I am. I'm
Heck yeah.
so excited for it.
Hell yeah. Did you get your name? Did you reserve your name already?
I just logged in a minute ago. I don't know which server I'm going to be playing on, but I have made Aullora. It is
Gotcha. Yeah, I made Jamin on one server, and then I tried to get it on another server, and it was taken, which I was like, what? Like, why would someone take this name? This is the dumbest name, but someone took it, so I have to be Zaman on the other server.
dang, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Oh well, it's all good. But we'll see. Yeah, I don't know which server I'm going to play on. My friends are looking at Herod, so I probably will play on Herod. But all the streamers apparently are going on Fairlina. So that's a
Are they PvP servers?
yeah, they're PvP servers.
That's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. I just watching the streams in Classic WoW. Did you play it all in vanilla?
Yeah, I did.
Oh
That was
wow,
actually my first computer game.
wow. When did you start?
Literally a couple months after it came out.
Wow,
2005 was it?
seven. Yeah, I think it was 2005.
Something like that. But yeah, my mom would never have gotten that for us, but we were visiting my dad for the summer and he was like, if it'll keep you girls busy. So he picked it up. He got the subscription and everything. And we spent that entire vacation just playing WoW. And actually when we got back, my mom was so mad at my dad for getting it for us. And then she tried it and now she's a gamer.
Oh wow.
Um, and 15 years later, she's still playing WoW. So,
Wow, is she going to play Classic with you?
she's probably not just because she has so much time invested in, the live stuff right
Gotcha. Wow. What class did you play, or did you play every
now.
class?
Back then, I was mostly Alliance. I played a Night Elf, had a Human Warrior, um, but after that, I kind of transitioned over to Horde. I switched servers. I changed my hunter into a Tauren. So it was fun.
Yeah, I absolutely adore WoW. It's like my favorite game of all time, and I'm so excited for vanilla. I never actually got to play during vanilla. I started during the Burning Crusade pre-patch, so I was like level 20 on my mage when the Dark Portal opened. Um,
Gotcha.
but yeah, it's going back, and every time I hear all these stories about vanilla, and I never played on a private server. I never tried it, so I'm really excited to experience all this for the first time.
I think you're gonna love it.
Hmm.
The community was actually like there before. If you wanted to go to a dungeon, well, you got to go find four other people willing to do that dungeon for you. You don't just push a button and teleport to it.
Yeah.
Um, but it was really cool. A lot of good memories, and a lot more to be made. So,
Yeah. Are you gonna be sad if you kill Ragnaros?
no, no.
He's a bad guy, right? So what's to be sad about?
I mean, he's pretty badass,
Yeah.
but if he's dropping loot, man,
Yeah. You gotta get the fat loots. Holy cow.
exactly.
Do you know what class you're gonna play this time?
Yeah, I think I'm still going warrior this go round. I'm gonna do protection warrior.
You're gonna be Horde or Alliance.
I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
I haven't decided.
Just so you know, Horde is the only proper choice.
I see. I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. Just coming from someone who knows. I've got experts back here that are telling me that Horde is correct.
Of course, of
Hmm.
course. Well, maybe I play horde then. We'll see.
Yeah. All right, well that's it. That's all the questions I got for you. I really appreciate you coming on and hanging out with me and answering these questions. And it was fantastic. It's great talking to you.
You too. Well, thanks again for having me.
Yeah, if anyone listening, if you're listening to the podcast later on, go to twitch.tv/Aullora. It's AULLORA_, because obviously someone must have taken the actual name.
Feels bad.
Yeah, and follow her there. And then, yeah. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Shaman.
Absolutely. Have a great day.
You too.
There it is, folks. Episode 11 in the bag. Thank you, Aullora. Thank you for that wonderful interview. Honestly, it's great. I'm so happy. This has been a fantastic episode. I can't wait till next week. But before then, we still got a little bit more to talk about. I have some things you guys should do. Go follow me on Twitter. It's at Jamin the Shaman. JhamanTheShaman. Jamin the Shaman on Twitter. Follow me there. Jamin the Shaman on YouTube. And then I also have a Twitch. It's twitch.tv/Jamin. Don't need the shaman on the end of that one. Just twitch.tv/Jamin. Follow me on all those. And you guys will be in the know-how. You'll know when the next podcast is coming out. I mean, it comes out every Saturday. But I do the work. I do the functions throughout the week. This week, I actually streamed the creation of the podcast of it. I streamed the interviews early in the week. And then later in the week, I actually streamed me creating it. So if you ever want to see that, if you ever want to hang out and talk and chat, I'll respond. I'm just kind of working all day on this podcast and doing stuff. Feel free to hop in, say hello, say what you want. Again, guys, thank you so much. Thank you for listening. I cannot wait to see you again next week. Have a great night. Have a great life. Have a great morning.